And now we're looking at Victoria too. This is centred on the Victorian period, and it focuses on industrialisation, nationalism and imperialism. And our event here is the scramble for Africa. Obviously, it's central to the idea of imperialism, sending people out to colonise Africa. And it also creates conflict between the great powers as they vie to carve up Africa. And in any style, any historical grand strategy game, sources of conflict are always valuable to have. You want to create them because this helps drive the game. But our problem here is that colonies really didn't pay, especially once you added up building a navy to defend the sea zones between your colonies, sending troops down to defend them. The overwhelming majority of colonies simply didn't bring enough money in to justify this. And if we do that, then smart players simply will not colonize. I mean, why waste resources on something that's worthless? You'll instead build up your troops and just go invade people who have sunk all the resources into colonies. And then we'd have to create a smart AI that wouldn't colonize either, which would then create a rather empty-looking Africa. Now, would that be better or worse for the people who live there? It's not really my place to say. I mean, I just make the games. I'm not here to pass judgment on history. However, so this is a question of historical interpretation, because despite the fact that colonies didn't pay, people still went off and colonized. And there's been all sorts of explanations put up. Some people suggested it was all about being prestigious. To be a great power, you needed colonies. Other people suggested that it was actually a way of distracting people from domestic issues. You have a nice foreign adventure, and then that'll be in the newspapers. However, there is one man who can explain everything, and that is Karl Marx. He's a great man, because for him it was all about a struggle for raw materials. It was about markets. It was about guaranteeing that your factories had goods and you had a captive population to buy your goods as well. And with Victoria too, the game has a very strong economic model, and this kind of really dovetails very nicely into it. So we can then set up a nice reward mechanic for people to colonize, which has nothing to do with the actual expense of colonization, but is more a benefit to your wider economy.